You want to win, don't you? You want to rise while the world mocks you, spits on your name, and tosses your dreams like garbage in the street. Be patient. Patience isn't some soft whisper in a quiet room. No, patience is warfare. Silent, smoldering, relentless. You think power lies in noise, in chaos, in explosions? Wrong. True power lives in stillness. It's in that solitary space where you face your pain and refuse to run, where you hold your anger and don't unleash it, where you cradle your ambitions and don't beg the world to validate them. You wait, building in the shadows, bleeding but unbroken. They told you to bide your time, didn't they? What they meant was wait until we've crushed your spirit. You trusted their timeline, believed if you were good enough, humble enough, loud enough, they'd notice. You thought loyalty earns rewards. No, loyalty gets you used, fast. You pour your heart into people who offer scraps, then they blame you for not shining brighter. The irony burns. You drain yourself dry, and they ask, why aren't you more alive? Let me tell you a story, kid. Picture a lion caged, not roaring, not pacing, just watching. Every fool who passes by calls him weak, broken. They throw rocks, they laugh. Foolish lion doesn't even flinch, but he's not dead. He's waiting, calculating, growing stronger. That silence, that calm, it's a warning. They're too busy mocking to notice. Then one day, the cage swings open and the laughter stops. That's patience, not surrender. It's preparation. You crave speed, don't you? Like them, chasing likes, noise, hollow cheers. The loud ones burn out fast. They bask in fleeting light, then choke on it. You're not made for flickers. You're forged for storms. You don't just want the crown. You want to reshape the entire kingdom that demands time, sacrifice, pain, and more silence than you can bear. But the quieter you stay, the louder your destiny roars. They think patience is weak, that waiting means losing. No, patience is brutal. It's waking up in the same nightmare every day and refusing to crack. It's biting your tongue when your name's slandered, when your worth's doubted, when your back's against the wall, and the only sound louder than your pulse is your rage. Yet you wait, fists clenched, lips bleeding, because deep down you know this pain isn't the end. It's the spark of everything. Don't beg for their eyes on you. They're blind, lulled by comfort. They won't see you until you become the force they tried to bury. Tears won't make them regret hurting you. Regret comes when silence turns to triumph, when the shadow they buried returns, not to speak, not to justify, but to dominate. You're not here to prove them wrong with words. You're here to shatter their image of who you were quietly. You keep asking when things will change. When's my moment? Wrong question. Ask this: will I keep moving if it never comes? Most people are patient only because they expect to prize you. You must be patient as if nothing's promised, as if no one's coming. That's how you win, by marching forward without needing the world's applause. To heal, stop waiting for their apologies. To grow, stop craving their validation. To conquer, stop broadcasting your every step. Don't share your vision with those who'd revel in its failure. Go quiet. Stay sharp. Stay distant. Let them speculate. Let them weave tales. That's their burden. Yours is to rise without fanfare, to strike when they're too late to counter. That's what patience does. It blindsides. So be patient, but not fragile. Be patient like a king in chains, like a volcano before it erupts, like a ghost carving graves for every false ally who called you too slow. They won't see you coming, and that's the point. People don't fear what's loud. They fear what vanishes, goes silent, and never explains. That's what makes patience lethal. It doesn't argue or scream. It disappears, and when it returns, it doesn't return to talk. It returns to finish. You think the world owes you answers, reasons, closure? No. The world owes you nothing. That silence you endure, that's where you transform. That's where the version of you they betrayed dies, and something colder, wiser, untouchable is forged, but only if you persist, only if you don't flee the long nights, the ignored texts, the fake smiles, the endless hours with no clarity. That's the true test. Can you suffer without shouting? Can you be betrayed and still walk tall? Not to prove them wrong, but because their opinions no longer matter. That's strength. They won't teach you this. They'll tell you to react, to plead, to post your pain online like a wounded animal seeking pity. But you don't want pity. You want silence so deep it resonates. You want scars that speak louder than any speech, because you know something they don't. Patience isn't weakness. It's power held back, not lost. They're watching, you know. They check your moves more than you check theirs, wondering if you're broken, if you're still standing. They hope your silence means defeat. Let them. That's your edge. They don't know what you're crafting in the shadows. Emotional resilience, mental clarity, lessons, anger, strategy. You're learning to strike without warning. That's what happens when a patient soul decides it's time. The world doesn't get a chance to brace itself. You've walked through fire, haven't you? They abandoned you when you needed them most, mocked your loyalty, toyed with your kindness, laughed behind your back. You gave everything, and they acted like it was too much to ask. Now they're confused. You went silent. You stopped reaching out, stopped chasing. That's why they're uneasy. Silence screams growth, control. Control they never thought you'd master. Let them think you're gone, that you've lost. Every time they assume you're done, you gain another advantage. When you return, don't announce it. Just claim your time, your space, your power. No warnings, no explanations, just presence. Patience teaches you to become a storm that doesn't warn of its arrival. You just appear and shift the skies. You're in that dark place now, questioning if this discipline, this silence will pay off. Hear this, they all break. The fake friends, the users, the ones who said you weren't enough. They all crack, not because you shouted, not because you guilted them, but because you didn't. You kept moving, kept building. That's the pain they'll never forget. Not the loud kind, but the silent kind. The he didn't even flinch kind. That's what patience grants you. Revenge without effort. Don't wait for the storm to pass. You are the storm. You just haven't unleashed it yet. All that fire you've buried, all that pain you've hidden, all that silence you've survived, use it. Build with it. Every quiet day is a foundation. Every ignored message is a blade. Every lie they told is armor. Stack it all. When the moment's right, don't shout. Just rise like a specter they thought they buried, with eyes cold, focused, unshaken. Patience isn't gentle, it's brutal. It's walking past those who wounded you like they're invisible. It's smiling while your heart still bleeds. It's plotting your empire while they gossip about your ruins. But when it's done, they won't recall the version of you they mocked. They'll remember the silence that followed and what emerged from it. That silence isn't just for them, it's for you. In that stillness, you hear your own voice, free of their lies, their masks, Their demands for you to shrink to fit their world. Patience strips away everything false. It kills the need for approval, the urge to explain. After enough silence, enough pain, you realize no one's coming to save you. That's where you become dangerous. That's where you stop playing their game and start crafting your own. Quietly, precisely, coldly. The world doesn't need your screams anymore. It needs your presence. They thought your silence was surrender. That was their first mistake. The weak always mistake quiet for defeat. But you've been dying every night and rising like it's nothing. That's patience, surviving your own destruction without showing it. Each time you do, you become less human, more legend. People don't fear noise. They fear consistency, the one who vanishes and returns transformed. You're not the person they broke. You're the one who watched it all burn and kept building in silence. That version doesn't chase love, friendship, or validation. When you're patient, you stop reacting to what doesn't serve you. You stop needing to be understood by those who never listened. You stop debating with those who chose to misjudge you. Let them think what they want. They're not your burden anymore. Your mission is to evolve without fanfare, without noise, without warning. The most powerful moves are unseen. They'll talk, say you've changed, that you're distant, that you're cold. Good. That means it's working. They didn't realize you gave them the softest version of yourself, and they crushed it. Now they meet the patient version, the strategic version, the one that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, and doesn't forgive lightly. Patience doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering quietly. It means storing every betrayal as fuel, every scar as a blueprint, not to lash out, but to rebuild stronger, sharper, colder. What scares them most isn't your anger or your tears. It's the moment you stop explaining your pain and start wielding it, that shift in your gaze. When you realize nothing they did can stop what you're becoming, that's what haunts them. They know they've lost access. You're not waiting for their regret. You've already given yourself closure in silence. Patience is watching the world spin, fast, chaotic, loud, and not flinching. You don't rush, you don't panic. You've faced worse. You felt pain so deep it numbed you. After surviving that, fear loses its grip. They think you're slow. No, you're precise. They think you're lost. No, you're locked in. Your path doesn't need a crowd. Your rise doesn't need spectators. Let them mock. Let them chatter. One day, those same lips that laughed will fall silent. Not because you hushed them, but because your success became too loud to ignore. Most chase power fast, love now, revenge instantly. They get fleeting, shallow wins. You want something real. Real takes time. Real takes silence. Real takes the kind of patience that breaks the weak and builds titans. You've bled in the shadows too long to stay soft. Let me take you deeper. Imagine a warrior, not in armor, not with a sword, but sitting alone in a darkened room. The world outside buzzes with noise, people shouting their victories, flaunting their wins, demanding attention. But this warrior, silent. Not because he's weak, but because he's learning. Every insult hurled at him is a lesson. Every betrayal is a map. Every moment of being overlooked is a chance to refine his aim. He's not idle. He's forging something the world can't see yet. That's you right now. You're not just waiting. You're weaponizing your pain. You're turning every slight, every dismissal, every closed door into a reason to build something they can't touch. They think you're sitting still? No. You're gathering strength, sharpening your focus, preparing for the moment when you step out of the shadows and change the game. You've been through hell, haven't you? They left you when you were at your lowest, ignored your loyalty, laughed at your kindness. You gave them your all, and they acted like it was nothing. You poured your soul into friendships, relationships, dreams, only to watch them turn their backs. And now they're puzzled. You've gone quiet. You've stopped calling, stopped texting, stopped caring. That's why they're nervous. Silence isn't just absence. It's power. It's the sound of someone who's learned they don't need to beg for respect. It's the weight of someone who's decided their worth isn't tied to who stays or who leaves. They thought they could break you, that their absence would shatter you. But you turned their absence into fuel. You turned their silence into a classroom. You turned their betrayal into a reason to become untouchable. Let's talk about that pain for a moment. It's heavy, isn't it? The kind that sits in your chest like a stone, the kind that wakes you up at 3 a.m. with questions you can't answer. Why didn't they see me? Why wasn't I enough? Why did they choose someone else? You've carried that weight, haven't you? You've walked through days pretending you're fine, smiling when you're breaking, laughing when you're bleeding. That's not weakness, that's discipline. That's the kind of strength that doesn't need applause, the kind that doesn't need validation, because you've learned something they haven't. Pain isn't just suffering, it's a teacher. Every tear you've shed has taught you something. Every night you've spent alone has built something. Every time you've been ignored, you've grown sharper. That pain, it's not your enemy, it's your architect. Now let's look at them, the ones who hurt you, the ones who underestimated you. They're out there, living loud, chasing attention, thinking they've won. They think your silence means you're defeated, that you're hiding because you're broken. Let them think that. Let them underestimate you. Because while they're out there shouting, you're building. While they're chasing fleeting validation, you're crafting something eternal. They don't see it yet, but they will. They'll see it when your silence turns into success, when your absence turns into presence, when your pain turns into power. They'll see it when you walk into rooms and don't need to say a word, because your energy speaks for you. They'll see it when your name starts echoing in places they never expected, not because you shouted, but because you endured. You're not just waiting for a moment, you're building a legacy. Every day you choose silence over reaction, you're adding another brick to that foundation. Every time you refuse to beg, you're forging another piece of armor. Every time you keep moving despite the pain, you're carving a path they'll never understand. This isn't about revenge, though it might feel like it sometimes. This isn't about proving them wrong, though that's a nice bonus. This is about proving yourself right, proving that you were always more than they saw, always stronger than they believed, always destined for something greater than their small minds could comprehend. You're not here to fit into their world. You're here to build your own. Let me tell you another story. There was a man, overlooked, underestimated, forgotten. He worked in the shadows, toiled while others took credit, stayed loyal while others betrayed. They called him soft, too quiet, too weak. But he wasn't weak. He was patient. He watched, he learned, He waited, and when the time came, he didn't shout his arrival. He didn't need to. His work spoke. His presence spoke. His results spoke. The same people who ignored him suddenly couldn't stop talking about him. The same ones who laughed now wanted his attention, but he didn't give it. He'd learned the power of silence, the strength of absence. He'd become Bane, not the loud, chaotic villain, but the calculated force who strikes with precision, who waits for the perfect moment, who knows that true power doesn't need to announce itself. That's you, right now. You're Bane in their story, not because you're cruel, but because you've learned to be strategic. You've learned that not everyone deserves your energy, your time, your voice. You've learned that the loudest person in the room is often the weakest because they need noise to feel secure. You don't need noise. You don't need validation. You don't need their approval. You've got something better. You've got discipline. You've got patience. You've got the kind of strength that doesn't need to be seen to be felt. And that's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes them nervous. They can't predict you anymore. They can't control you. They can't reach you. And that's exactly where you want to be. Let's talk about the ones who left, the friends who ghosted you, the partners who betrayed you, the colleagues who stepped over you. They thought their absence would break you, didn't they? They thought you'd crumble without their presence, without their validation. But here's the truth. Their absence didn't break you. It built you. Every time someone walked away, they gave you space to grow. Every time someone ignored you, they gave you time to sharpen. Every time someone betrayed you, they gave you a reason to become stronger. You didn't need them. You needed the lessons they left behind. And now, you're becoming something they can't touch, something they can't access, something they'll regret losing for the rest of their lives. You see, people don't realize the weight of their actions until it's too late. They don't see the value of what they have until it's gone. They don't understand the power of your presence until you withdraw it. And that's what your silence does. It forces them to face the void you left behind. It forces them to confront the truth they tried to ignore, that you were always more than they deserved, that you gave them loyalty they couldn't match, kindness they couldn't appreciate, love they couldn't reciprocate. And now that you're gone, not physically, but emotionally, energetically, they're starting to feel it. They're starting to realize what they lost. But you're not looking back. You're not waiting for their regret. You're too busy building something they'll never be part of. Let's talk about that building process, because it's not easy. It's not glamorous. It's not the kind of thing you post online for likes. It's gritty, painful, lonely. It's waking up every day knowing the world doesn't care, knowing the people you loved have moved on, knowing your dreams are still out of reach, and choosing to keep going anyway. It's sitting in the dark with no one to cheer you on, no one to tell you you're doing it right, and still putting one foot in front of the other. It's writing plans no one sees, setting goals no one believes in, chasing a vision no one understands. That's what patience looks like. It's not passive, it's active. It's not waiting for the world to hand you something. It's taking what's yours, piece by piece, day by day, in silence. You've been doing that, haven't you? You've been building, even when it hurt. You've been moving, even when no one noticed. You've been growing, even when no one clapped. And that's why you're different. That's why you're stronger. That's why you're gonna win. Because while they're out there chasing quick wins, shallow praise, temporary highs, you're playing a different game. You're playing for legacy. You're playing for permanence. You're playing for the kind of success that doesn't fade, the kind of power that doesn't need to be announced, the kind of life that doesn't need validation to feel real. Let's talk about validation for a moment, because that's what trips so many people up. You used to want it, didn't you? You wanted their approval, their applause, their acknowledgement. You thought if you worked hard enough, loved deeply enough, stayed loyal enough, they'd see you. You thought if you proved yourself, they'd value you. But they didn't, did they? They took your effort and called it ordinary. They took your loyalty and called it weakness. They took your love and called it too much. And that hurt. That cut deeper than you'll ever admit. But it also taught you something. Validation from others is a trap. It's a chain that keeps you small, keeps you begging, keeps you dependent. The moment you stop needing it, the moment you start validating yourself, is the moment you become free. That's what patience has done for you. It's stripped away the need for their approval. It's taught you that your worth isn't tied to their opinions. Your success isn't tied to their applause. Your life isn't tied to their presence. You've learned to stand alone, to build alone, to rise alone. And that's not loneliness. That's power. That's the kind of power that makes people nervous because they can't control it. They can't manipulate it. They can't stop it. You've become something they can't touch, not because you're untouchable, but because you've learned to protect your energy, to guard your peace, to reserve your presence for those who deserve it. Let me tell you about peace, because it's not what you think. It's not soft, not gentle, not easy. Peace is hard won. Peace is the result of battles fought in silence, of wounds healed in the dark, of dreams kept alive, despite every reason to let them die. Peace is what you get when you stop reacting to their games, when you stop chasing their approval, when you stop begging for their respect. Peace is what you get when you realize you don't need them to complete you. You were whole all along, and that peace, it's not fragile, it's not temporary. It's the kind of peace that can withstand storms, that can walk through fire, that can stand in the face of betrayal and not flinch. That's the peace you're building right now. With every silent day, with every disciplined choice, with every step you take, without looking back. You're not the same person you were, are you? You can feel it, can't you? The way you move differently, the way you think differently, the way you see people differently. You used to explain yourself, didn't you? You used to justify your choices, your feelings, your dreams. You used to chase people, hoping they'd see you, hoping they'd stay. But now you don't explain, you don't justify, you don't chase. You've learned that the right people don't need explanations. The right opportunities don't need begging. The right life doesn't need forcing. You've learned to let go of what doesn't serve you, to walk away from what doesn't respect you, to build without needing anyone's permission. And that's what makes you unstoppable. Let's talk about being unstoppable, because that's what you're becoming. Not because you're loud, not because you're perfect, not because you're fearless, but because you're patient, because you've learned to endure. because you've learned to keep going, even when the world tells you to stop, even when the people you love tell you you're not enough, even when your own heart tells you it's too hard. You've learned to silence the doubts, to ignore the noise, to focus on what matters. You've learned to turn pain into purpose, betrayal into strength, silence into power. And that's what sets you apart. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you a force. You're not here to play their game. You're not here to fit into their world. You're here to create your own. You're here to build something they can't imagine, something they can't touch, something they'll never forget. And you're doing it, aren't you? You're doing it with every choice you make, every step you take, every moment you choose silence over reaction. You're doing it with every day you wake up and keep going, even when it hurts, even when it's hard, even when no one sees. You're doing it because you know something they don't. The greatest victories are the ones no one sees coming. The greatest legacies are the ones built in silence. The greatest lives are the ones lived with purpose, with patience, with power. So keep going, keep building, keep waiting, not for them, but for you. Wait for the moment when you're ready, when you're strong, when you're whole. Wait for the moment when you step out of the shadows and show the world what you've become. Not to prove them wrong, not to make them regret, but to prove yourself right. To prove that you were always more than they saw, always stronger than they believed, always destined for something greater than their small minds could comprehend. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're not just enduring, you're evolving. You're not just waiting, you're winning. Let me take you back to that lion in the cage. He's still there, watching, waiting, growing. But now the cage is open. The rocks have stopped. The laughter has faded. And the lion, he's not roaring. He's not charging. He's walking slowly, deliberately, powerfully. Every step shakes the ground. Every glance carries weight. Every moment of silence speaks louder than any roar ever could. That's you. That's what you're becoming. Not a loud, chaotic force, but a quiet, unstoppable one. Not a fleeting flame, but an eternal fire. Not a victim of their betrayal, but a victor of your own patience. You've been patient long enough to know it's not about speed. It's about precision. It's not about noise. It's about impact. It's not about them. It's about you. You've been patient long enough to know that the world doesn't owe you anything, but you owe yourself everything. You owe yourself the chance to rise, to build, to become. You owe yourself the chance to turn your pain into power, your silence into strength, your dreams into reality. And you're doing it, aren't you? You're doing it with every breath, every step, every moment you choose to keep going. You're doing it because you know the truth. Patience isn't just waiting, it's winning. Silence isn't just absence, it's presence. And you're not just surviving, you're becoming a legend. Let's talk about legends for a moment, because that's what you're crafting. Legends aren't born in comfort. They're not born in applause. They're born in the dark, in the quiet, in the moments no one sees. They're born in the nights you cry alone, in the days you work alone, in the years you wait alone. Legends are born in patience, in discipline, in silence. And that's what you're doing right now. You're crafting a legend, not for them, but for you. You're building a story that will outlive their laughter, their betrayal, their doubt. You're building a life that will stand as a testament to what happens when you refuse to break, when you refuse to beg, when you refuse to give up. You're not there yet, but you're closer than you think. Every day you choose patience, you're closer. Every day you choose silence, you're stronger. Every day you choose yourself, you're winning. And when you get there, when you reach that moment when the world sees what you've become, don't look back. Don't look for their approval. Don't look for their regret. Look at yourself. Look at the person you've become, the strength you've built, the life you've created. Look at the scars that tell your story, the silence that shaped your power, the patience that made you unstoppable. That's your victory. That's your legacy. That's your truth. So be patient, but not passive. Be patient like a shadow waiting for nightfall. Be patient like a lion staring through iron bars. Be patient like a storm before the thunder. When it's time, don't knock, don't speak. Just claim everything they thought you'd never have the strength to take. Patience is loud inside, a war you fight alone daily. You wear a calm face while your mind screams. You laugh while dying inside. You give when no one reciprocates. You stand when everything begs you to fall. They call that strength like it's poetic. No, it's survival. You're here not because you're fearless, but because you had no choice. And that made you cold. Not cruel, just done. Done waiting for fairness. Done chasing conditional love. Done apologizing for the fire in your soul. Let them call you cold. Let them call you distant. You should be. Warmth draws parasites. Kindness is currency to thieves. Now you give nothing unless it's earned. You speak less because you see they listened only to respond, not to understand. You don't share your dreams. They weren't cheering. They were competing. The less they know, the better. Your patience is your shield, your silence your weapon. You've become Bane in their story, not because you changed, but because you stopped letting them write yours. They thought you were foolish for staying loyal, for trying. Now they think you're cold for leaving. Funny how they only see your worth after you withdraw it. Don't explain. Don't ease their guilt. Don't give them the closure they denied you. Let them stew in the silence. Let them drown in the mess they made. You don't owe them clarity. You don't owe them forgiveness. Patience isn't holding on. It's holding back. You held back your rage, your revenge, your words. Now hold back your presence. That's how you win. Quietly. Completely. You used to be soft, didn't you? You used to explain, to chase, to hope. You waited for people to become better. You gave chances they didn't deserve. You saw the good in the worst of them, but the game changed. They forced your hand. They made you patient by turning you into a ghost. Not dead, just invisible to those you'd have fought the world for. And now, that ghost has claws. Now that ghost doesn't whisper, it haunts. They see your silence now and feel uneasy because for the first time they realize you're beyond their reach. That's when they start remembering not who you were, but how they treated you. They remember the loyalty they ignored, the messages they left unanswered, the love they mocked, the tears they caused. And by the time they realize patience doesn't mean forever, it's too late. You're already someone else. You've already outgrown the version of you they mishandled. You've already built an empire in the dark, and that empire has no gates for those who tried to burn you down. So no, don't speak, don't explain, don't text, don't call. Let the silence carry your legacy. Let it echo every lesson they refused to learn. Let your success scream where your voice no longer will. That's what patience does. It gives you the final word without speaking. It gives you the last move without warning. And it gives you peace. Not the fragile kind, but the cold, earned, untouchable kind. The kind only warriors of silence carry. You've earned it. You've bled for it. You've waited for it when no one clapped, no one cared, no one stayed. So when they ask what happened to the person they used to know, let them wonder. Let them grieve the version of you they killed with their ignorance. Because you won't come back as that person. You'll come back as someone they can't handle anymore. You'll come back as the version they tried to silence. Just sharper, colder, and far beyond their reach.